Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tumblelicious broadcast. We out here, we out here, we out here. There we are. Let's begin. This shit is fast. Oh, shit on me. Shit. Fuck did I do? No, you think so? Seems like it. Refugee camp. Noticed. Not a terrorist fucking bunker. Refugee camp. Hanaku? I'll tell you how. He wanted it to happen. Why did he want it to happen? Because how else are they supposed to bomb the fuck out of Palestine and everyone in there? Oh my gosh, my fucking mouse pad is dirty. Is that a clip? I think it is. Let's do it. See how that looks later. I agree. It's gonna happen way long after that. Wait, I know who that is. We're finna fuck her up, bro. Yeah, that's some straight up bullshit. That's how you know our government is fucked, boys. So do these folks have like I don't know, they do you stream the whole news hour or what? I don't know. No way. Nice. It's a win. Boo. Of course he would, bro. Damn, is my boy nervous? Or is he just shaky like me? Time and time and time and time again. Whoa. Jeez. Ugh. Ugh. Hey, I knew that lady. You got this, girl. Queen. Bump. Saddest fucking day of America's life. What the fuck was I gonna check? I totes forgot. I totes forgot. Continue. Fucking psychos, bro. That's her sister? What? Bro, I was muted this whole time.
So you can try to censor me, but you can't silence their voices. I urge my colleagues to join with the majority of Americans and support a ceasefire now to save as many lives as possible. President Biden must listen to and represent all of us, not just some of us. I urge the president to have the courage to call for a ceasefire and the end of killings. Thank you, and I yield.
So
That's Detroit Congress member Rashida Tlaib, the only Palestinian American, speaking on the House floor before the House voted to censure her for her criticism of Israel. Democracy Now! Is funded by viewers like you. Please give today at democracynow.org/give.
Yesterday, you were asking if there's anything floating around in the media that upset you. Yeah, I've already watched this. It's very upsetting. But not even because it's like triggering or frustrating or anything. Like, I get very frustrated when I see someone saying like incredibly unhinged shit, right? I get very mad when I see someone quote tweet like Rashida Tlaib, for example, to tell her what an emancipatory slogan that Palestinians have used for 56 years, what that actually means. And there's some sinister hidden meaning.
this guy does some of the best actual reaction videos, because look, he adds all kinds of shit. The way his shit is set up, that's why I have mine like his kind of. I mean, I don't even have nobody here, but like in the screen, it's already different. There's the chat, there's your boy, and then there's the screen.
Actually secretly saying we need to genocide the Jews, like that's what the real reason is. Like, that triggers the fuck out of me. This, on the other hand, is like a nuke. This is like a nuclear bomb went off in my brain. It shut my brain off when I watched it. And I don't understand how SNL, being incredibly cringe, still clears this program. Colombia anti-Semitism.
Hi everyone, we are live on YouTube with Colombia Anti-Semitic News, where everyone is welcome. LGBTQH.
H?
Hamas.
Yeah, I totally sim Hamas.
Yeah.
It's so trending right now.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Do you know why it's true? Because it rhymes. Just look at all this toxic Zionist propaganda. Kidnapped in Gaza. Does this look like Gaza to you?
Yeah, but I have no idea what Gaza looks like.
And they're smiling. Do hostages smile? Zionist liars.
Totally sus.
Do they think we're stupid?
Stupid? I major in queer post-colonial astrology. Ew.
I love the actual, like, legitimate distaste for queer presentation in general that just seeps out of this too. You know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to, this entire sketch is supposed to signal to the world, like, well, look at this classic contradiction. Like, Hamas, they would kill all the gays, right? They would kill all the gays. That's what they would do. And all these dumb gay people in America are defending Hamas. They love Hamas. They're supporting Hamas because they're so stupid. Now, it's obviously ridiculous. Solidarity with people who are subjected to cruel and unusual actual punishments should not be on the conditions that they agree with you. You should have a moral backbone that goes beyond that. I guess for reactionaries in general, this is like an unimaginable concept, because for them, they're like, you know, what do you mean? I only defend people who defend me immediately. Like, that's it. Secondly, it also makes it seem as though like Israel's solution to the gay Palestinians is better, which is to eviscerate them with bombs.
Jews make the world dirty.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm racist fluid.
Exactly. And now for a little break from all this activism, we want to say hello to our BFF,
Bestie freedom fighter.
Abu Fatwa in Gaza. Salam alaikum.
Alaykum as-salam, and inshallah, Allah will kill you all infidels.
Thank you so much for joining us. Love the headpiece, the all oppression shit. Very
Okay.
Mr. Fatwa, how are you? Are you safe?
Oh yes, I'm safe. I'm in a tunnel under the Gaza hospital. Above me, I have Allah and 2 million civilians protecting me.
Community is so important these days.
Do you need like humanitarian aid, food, fuel, medicine?
It's okay, I have
This better
everything.
not be SNL, bro.
I'm only hungry for rockets.
As long as it's organic.
Yeah.
I wish I just could be there with you.
You can come to Gaza anytime, and we will throw you from the roof.
Fuck.
Yeah, sick, dude. Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on. Stop this, please. No, you need to watch this to develop a better understanding. Okay,
Error.
liberal comedy is
The
very.
fuck? YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth. What do you mean? It's green. I don't fucking get it, bro. I have great internet. No matter what bitrate I put, that's what it fucking wants. What? I don't know, bro. Let me see. Ugh. What did that do? Nothing. It's still. Guess it's better, but it's still red. Why are you red when you're at 17? Hold on. Let me hide screen. Go here. Speed test. See what this shit says, bro. Hold on. So dumb, man. Great. It's not working. Oh. There we go. Took forever. 100 fucking ads. Download speed 930. Upload speed. It's declining, but it started at 800. It goes up and down. I knew it, bro. 438, which is 14. I don't know what the fuck that means. Just keep it at 10. Anyway.
Very important to unlock the consciousness of an entire population. This is an SNL, thankfully. Yeah, no, it's just a projection of their pure unadulterated.
Wait, this isn't. Oh, okay.
I wish I just could be there with you.
You can come to Gaza anytime, and we will throw you from the roof.
Yeah, sick, dude. Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on. Stop this, please. No, you need to watch this to develop a better understanding, okay? Liberal comedy is very important. Liberal comedy is very important to unlock the consciousness of an entire population. This is an SNL, thankfully. Yeah, no, it's just a projection of their pure unadulterated racism. So that's number one. Like, I mean, it's not even funny, though. That's the problem. Because I don't think think you can like get this racist and be funny at the same time. It's just like, it's not happening. This is like 2 steps from SNL would do, no doubt. Sure. But many Americans will look to this and recognize that this is literally like a Steven Crowder sketch. It's just so bad. Yes, this was made by the Israeli SNL. By the way, the Columbia Law Students for Palestine group wrote for the Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch for over a decade, advocating for the recognition of the Israeli apartheid. We worked super hard. El Haq was our partner in Gaza and the West Bank. Sorry for the spam, Habibi. Yeah, I'm proud of you guys for pushing. And then the dam broke on that end. Why is it in English if it's the Israeli SNL? Why was it made in English? What do you mean? This is literally for guys. At what point will you recognize that Israeli propaganda does not have to exist for a broad majority of the Israeli population? Israeli propaganda has to exist for the Western world, because without the Western world's unconditional support, without, for example, America constantly fucking vetoing any kind of UN Security Council commitment or condemnation, Israel would not be able to behave in the way that it does. This is something that you have to understand. Settler Night Live is crazy. Yeah. If there was a sketch comedy TV in the 1930s and honestly we've been doing
Okay. That was fucking funny. Saturday Night Live.
shit exactly like this. I mean, I think they did do that. There probably was shit like
You
that.
homosexual dirt.
Do you hear? Bro, want to throw me a rooftop party?
They are so welcoming and inclusive.
So, shukran. And you are also very welcome to come here to America.
We will come. First, we finish with Israel. And America is next.
I love this.
Israel
He's like,
and
we're gonna
America is
come to
next.
America. Like, we're gonna finish Israel and then we're gonna come to America. Like, Hamas is gonna attack America, dude.
Great. So I guess we'll see you soon.
Yes, it would be a blast.
Can't wait. It will be so multicultural.
Yeah. Who would laugh at this? Extremely racist people. Like, incredibly racist people. In order for this humor to work for you,
So
you have to
fucked up,
have
it's
the
funny,
exact same
bro.
positions as these people and maybe even more racist than they are. Like,
No,
you have to...
listen. I'm completely against Israel. This government's piece of shit, dog shit. Throw the U.S. in there. But hey, bro, I like stupid. It's so stupid. It's funny. Like, it's like so stereotypical. Their pun lines are funny, I guess.
Be in the intersection of like just enough homophobia, just enough resentment for college campus activists, and of course a metric ton of Islamophobia in general to be like, to look at this and go, this is hilarious. To me, it's like the grossest offense of this is that it's not funny. You know what I mean? How is it racist? They're talking about terrorists, not Palestinians. Come on, brother. Come on. You have a dude here. Like, this is such a Sam Harris 2004 take. I feel like I feel like I'm getting whiplash. Like, you're one step removed from being like, actually, Islam is a religion, not a race. Like, I have to go back to like the same 2-decade-old arguments about how like Islamophobia is racialized and how, like, for example, my name is Hassan, but most people, if they didn't know what my name was, would not perceive me as like a Muslim person, whereas like the first victim of Islamophobic hate crimes in the aftermath of 9/11 was a Sikh person. You know what I mean? Like, all this like, do we have to work through all of this? Really? Like, you were that hardwired to jump to this? Like, the notion that Hamas is coming to America is ridiculous.
Ya Allah, you are so stupid.
Thank you so much, Abu. We love you.
I won't even bother killing you. It's a waste of bullets.
Good vibes only.
It's better you just kill yourself.
Okay, bye.
Die.
Die. This is Ahmed the dead terrorist, bro. Like, straight up. You're a dumb if you literally look to something like Ahmed the dead terrorist and go, what's Islamophobic about this? Like, what's anti-Arab about this? That's just a terrorist. That's not a human. That's not like Muslims, dog. I've been dying for you to watch this video. Okay, sure. I'll watch this video. Confuse me with facts.
1945. World War II is finally over. Europe is filled with tens of millions of refugees. 2 years later, Great Britain lost control of Southeast Asia. India and Pakistan win independence, and 7 million Muslim refugees exchange places with 7 million Hindi refugees. Today,
I don't get it. What the fuck does that have to do with Israel? What's happening here? What does this have to do?
not one of these people is a refugee. Not one. They have integrated into their host countries and built new lives. And then
Motherfucker's like, hey, I'll have you know, in 1919, there was also a border swap between Greece and Turkey, and they were not considered refugees no more. And it's like, yeah, okay, fine. Really gruesome process in general, but also still, the fuck does this have to do with Israel? Like, I don't get it.
There
It
are
wasn't
the
1919, but it was around that time. I don't fucking remember exactly when it was. God damn it, it's my own goddamn personal history, and I don't know.
Palestinians. In 1947, the United Nations presented a partition plan
This is Israel's Foreign Affairs Ministry. Okay, Israel's Foreign Affairs Ministry.
for the Jewish homeland. The Arabs gave a resounding no to that plan.
Yeah, I wonder why, dude. I wonder why. Because most of the people, at this point, the Jewish population is 33% of the people living on that land. They are seen as like settler colonialists, which they are. They are engaging in a settler colonialist project. And who is doing the settler colonial project? The motherfucking British that claimed that they were going to give a national piece of land to the Palestinians for collaborating with them against the Ottoman Empire. So yeah, of course they're going to be like, no, dog, we don't want this. You told us we could have our land. I thought that's what was going on. What do you mean? And in that 1947 partition plan, at the end of the day, the 33% population of newcomers who are Jewish end up getting 55% of the population. Anyway.
They rejected a state for themselves if it meant also giving a state to the Jews. 6 Arab states attacked the fledgling Jewish
Yeah, just out of nowhere, this
state,
is what happened.
which was small but plucky and determined to survive. In the meantime, many of the Arab inhabitants left their homes because of the war and the promise by Arab leaders that the Jews would be defeated quickly. They planned to return when...
Okay, so there is some level of truth to this, okay? No, there is some level of truth to this. Some people did think, or actually most people, did think that they were going to get back their homes, okay? That part is true. It's just a very gross way to cover the story by refusing to recognize most of these like Arab villages had at this point, by this point, had created their own, like either they had like a barely a standing, not even a militia, but just like some arms, small arms, because they had been disarmed by the British occupying force at the time, as opposed to the standing military that the Zionists had, Haganah, with like more than 100,000. So of course it's not true. The only part of it that is true is the part of it that the part where there were definitely people that thought that they were going to come back to their houses once they left.
When they won the war and the Jews had been thrown into the sea.
I like the idea that they won the war and the Jews were thrown into the sea.
To their great surprise, they lost. Several 100,000 Arabs had become...
They lost. Yeah, bullshit. Like that he started off with 1947 instead of talking about the Nakba, because yes, technically the expulsions predate the Nakba. The Nakba is just the most significant form of it, the most militarized form of it, because it accompanied like the British completely pulling out at that point. However, leading up to the Nakba, there was constant back and forth fighting amongst Arab villagers who did not have as many weapons or anything like that against a very well-trained standing army. Like these were not just like random people. In many instances, people try to act like you just had like Holocaust survivors like grab up arms and get killed, and it was a big war against all these Arab nations. It's like bullshit. And also the reason why this video refuses to even say the word Nakba is because they want to cover it as though like a war broke out. I make videos about history and facts continues to lie. I mean, this is the Israeli government. Of course it's a lie. Of course it's like all of it is a lie. This is akin to like a Turkish government video talking about Armenian genocide being a lie, okay? It's the same shit. I think like me being Turkish, growing up in Turkey, learning about Armenian genocide as being like objectively a lie is the way they cover it in school. This is the way that I've been taught. 100% gives me like a unique perspective on this that most people will not be able to understand. So I get it. Like it's almost identical. The way that Israel talks about the Nakba is identical to the way that Turkey talks about the Armenian genocide, except the difference is Israel's a much more important and valuable ally to the United States, so like they can get away with just straight up lying about everything.
Refugees. Later on, they would be called Palestinian refugees. On the other
it's disgusting.
hand, at about the same time, 850,000 Jews were forced out of their homes all over the Middle East. They had lived in the Arab world for thousands of years.
I like this propaganda because like it literally, first of all, there's multiple waves of immigration that occur throughout this time frame because of different Arab countries having their own post-colonial movements, which also engages in like Jewish violence and pushing them out of their countries to go to Israel. But it's funny that he's saying this because this video in and of itself, unironically, if you know anything about the Nakba, if you know anything about like the forcible expulsion of Palestinians from their homes, makes it seem like the only reason why Jews were expelled from their homes is because of a reaction to the Nakba, which is true. That part is true, obviously, but it predates like Jewish immigration into Israel from Arab countries also predates the Nakba as well. So in a weird way, it ends up muddying the waters in a way that like benefits someone who is trying to make a wrong argument, claiming that the only reason why Jews were expelled from Arab countries is specifically because of a reaction to Israel and its nation state being formed.
But when the Arabs were defeated and the state of Israel was established, it was too much for the Arab regimes, and they showed
a lot of it was immigration and not expulsion. Yes, a lot of it was immigration, but to say that it wasn't a consequence of like anti-Jewish violence, like it would be wrong. That I don't agree with. I mean, there was heightened tension even before the Nakba.
Showed their Jews the door. Therefore, you could say that the Arabs and the Israelis exchanged populations.
Oh my God, this is so gross. The Arabs and the Israelis changed populations. God, these people are so racist. Dude, one, the Palestinians, there is no one united Arab population, just like there is no one united Jewish population, okay? This does two things. One, attribute the violence that other individual Arab nations in their own national movements, in their own nationalist movements to build a nation state for themselves. It attributes all of that violence to Palestinians, okay? All Arabs are the same. They're one-track minded. They just hate Jews, okay? So that's number one. And number two, it makes it seem as though there was like this population transfer that occurred because all the Jews were also one-track minded as well, that they just like kind of swapped places. Meanwhile, the Arabs that lived in those nations still live in those nations. The only people that got f***ed over in this process, the Palestinians. It's ridiculous.
Much like in Europe after World War II, and much like the Hindus and Muslims.
That's gross. That's gross. Yeah, dude. Yeah, like Moroccan Jews coming into Israel went through the same conditions as the Jews in the Holocaust. Good take. When you're so horny to try to like justify and also avoid talking about like the real genuine violence that you subjected people that lived there to, that you just end up doing a little bit of Holocaust revisionism. You know what I mean? It's not fine, you know, just a little bit. The second thing that this video does, which is what Israel as a government has done that really frustrates me, is the idea that Jews and Arabs are separate. You can't eat hummus and you can't eat falafel and act like that's your own thing while simultaneously being like Jews and Arabs are totally separate. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You can't be running around talking about how you make hummus and then be like Jews and Arabs are different. No, they're not. There are millions of Arab Jews, you asshole. Fuck you. And every Arab Jew that says that they're not Arab, that there's something different, that is supremacist, okay? That is a supremacist ideal that was instilled upon a population that had to go through a rough integration process to Europeanize themselves a little bit. It's so dumb, dog. It's so stupid. It's so ahistorical. Yeah. To ask an Arab Jew if they're Arab or not and see how they react to it. Maybe not in America, but in Israel. If you ask an Arab Jewish person in Israel if they're Arab, they flip out. This video is stupid as
Muslims in India and Pakistan, and leave things at that. But the Arabs aren't willing to leave things at that. If they had, the Arab states would have done what Israel did a long time ago with the Jews from Arab states, integrate the Palestinians into their society, and provide them with citizenship. Wow, what a not revolutionary idea. So why weren't
all Arabs, like Palestinian citizens of Israel, that made up 20% to 25% of the population, were under military rule? And then after 1967, those guys were still, they are still absolutely systematically disenfranchised in very legal ways because Israel is an ethno-state. But it didn't even matter because then you also have a much larger problem post-1967 where you have an occupation on both Gaza and also in the West Bank. Now you have a much larger Palestinian population that you're completely dominating.
They given citizenship or any other rights? The Palestinians were deliberately kept as refugees so that they could be used as a weapon in the war against Israel.
Yeah, dude, Israel is always small bean, you know? They're always the small bean country. They're not a violent ethno-state that has done a tremendous amount of ethnic displacement in the region as a settler colonial project. It's always just a small bean, and all these other guys, they're being kept as refugees to hurt Israel. No, you did this, and you don't want to deal with it. You did it, and you don't want to deal with it, and you don't have to deal with it because, like, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit about Palestinians. Why? Because they have nothing. There's no natural resources that the Palestinians have historically had. They got olive trees and fishing, so no one gives a about like defending their rights. It's just the truth. That's it. And if you want to look at Palestinian history from the American perspective, the only reason why anyone has ever given a shit about Palestinians is because of our allegiances with the Gulf states leading up to the 60s and 70s, because the Gulf states had a lot of power from oil. So that's the only ever interest in like the 70s because the Gulf states had a lot of power from oil. So that's the only ever interest in like maybe looking at the Palestinian plight from the perspective of Palestinians was almost always from the perspective of the Gulf nation states that at the very least back then would say like, this is unacceptable. This is completely unacceptable. We're going to do everything in our power to make the West hurt. Yeah, the olive trees were set on fire in the West Bank. Hamas was hiding under them. I know. It's sickening, especially considering how long it takes for olive trees to actually produce olives. And these are 100-year-old trees and that they're burning. It's the most disgusting, gross I've ever seen in my entire life. It is so violent. It is so awful. It is specifically done out of anger. It's for vengeance. Israel's incursion, Israel's siege on Gaza right now is an act of vengeance. It is an act of vengeance, and it is an act of ethnic cleansing and ethnic displacement. There is no real ending Hamas purpose behind it. They know it. I know it. We all know it. The American government knows it. That's why they keep like leaking to the press. Oh, Israel has no plan on the Gaza Strip. Maybe we should reconsider this. It seems like Israel has no plan on what to do with the Gaza Strip. Of course they don't have a plan, because there is no plan. It's just violence. It's just like violently displacing as many people as possible, slowly but surely taking territory, additional territory. Meanwhile, the American government is like, wow, maybe use like smaller bombs. Please, you're making it really hard for us to defend you. That is unironically the perspective of the American government in this entire process, is to simply stay behind and go, dog, please just dial it back. You're making it so hard for us to defend you. Like, we want you to kill all the Palestinians. We do. We love that. Thank you. Please keep doing ethnic cleansing. That's actually pretty fire. We don't give a shit about Palestinians. We are America after all, and they're Arab. Why the f would we ever care? However, you can't keep doing it so publicly and so awfully, because the more you do it, the more people are going, hey, hold the f up. This is kind of gross, and this is ethnic cleansing.
Well,
Mr. Shapiro, I give you 4 Pinocchios for the...
This is a very long one. Well, watch this.
Third world country will love money. Very negative.
Very negative.
Yeah, I don't see anything positive about America.
I think they're a bit stupid.
True.
American TikTokers, they earn too much money with what they do. Like in Belgium, we have to work for our money, and they just make videos and that's it.
Oh my God.
You know, I might be completely wrong about this, but I think it was a little bit cooler to be American when I was a kid.
No, it wasn't. It was not. It was never cool. Everyone always thought it was dog shit. There was never a moment in American history where people are like, maybe like World War II, I think. But like, that's it, pretty much. Like, shortly after, I thought you were a Marabou. I am an Marabou. I'm an Marabou for American culture, okay? And even though I was an Marabou for American culture, I still absolutely had disdain for the American foreign policy. It wasn't like when I was younger, I was like, oh man, it's so sick that like America's war on terror is awesome. You know what I mean? I still thought that Americans were gross piglets who fucking defended a violent institution, and they were bloodthirsty barbarians that actually outsourced the barbarism to like their poorest as they sat home, sitting on their fucking couches and consuming jalapeno poppers and eating Oreos. Okay? Which is kind of true. I wasn't wrong on that, and that opinion has been consistent. I think people just think diners are cozy. No, like, people do actually think American pop culture is fun to consume. Everybody knows that. But ultimately, my assumption from a broader snapshot before living here was that a lot of Americans are like really fucking horrifyingly Islamophobic, which was true for back then especially. Anyway, that is the case though. That part has been consistent. Let's watch.
Hi guys. I've lived in Europe for several years now, and look, I've romanticized this continent quite a bit. I really like living here, but there's a funny feeling that I cannot shake, and I think it has to do with how Europeans view Americans, or how Europeans view me when they discover that I'm American. And it's not entirely positive. This feeling has not gone away even though I've been here for a few years now. And it's,
I mean, automatically, like 8 different fucking photos that he just showed, 8 different B-roll images that he showed, including the one where he's on a fucking train, is like part of the reason why Europe and many European nations clear America, and probably every American city, as a matter of fact.
it's not hatred, it's more like negative undertones, offhand comments or jokes that are made, and it makes me feel not very cool.
I mean, I'll take it one step further. The reason why the European Eurocucks fucking have so much disdain for America is because of the underlying feeling that they have in their heart of hearts. Yes, we have a decent quality of life, except the reality is that our politicians are still dogs to the American institutions, and they are just as responsible for the same exact forms of oppression. And, you know, we are, in many respects, completely incapable of having any kind of autonomy. So there is that. There is that reality, okay? That's just the truth. And that's why the joke is that Americans, when they travel, say they're Canadian.
And by the way, I recognize not all Europeans dislike Americans. That is a massive generalization. But I'm bringing this up because it's been enough of a trend for me to confidently talk about this as something that's really happening in the world.
Yeah. I mean, of course, my city has the biggest NSA base outside of the US.
I don't think it's just in my head. It just seems like when it comes to Europeans' view of Americans, there's a lot to dislike. I don't necessarily entirely disagree.
I don't dislike Americans, and I am European. Sorry, but I don't follow these Russian propaganda narratives. Please tell me that was a joke, chatter, you fucking asshole. Oh my god, I hope that was a joke. That was a joke, right? Come on. That's a really funny joke. Please. Say it's a joke. Because at the top of the hour, there's a through and ad break, and that's not a fucking joke. And you will no longer be able to see those. You will no longer be able to have an ad-free broadcasting experience unless you subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get 1 free Prime subscription a month. Yeah, that's right. It's no joke, actually. If you get gifted a sub, you can also avoid it. MB Chaos, thank you for the 5. A bit flippant. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Allowing fen people, and obviously the ads at the top of the hour. So let me see the ads. Okay, he's not joking.
I have
He's serious.
plenty of my own criticisms about the United States and the way of life over.
Bro, this guy literally is like, he's like an influencer that, I mean, I like him immediately. He's like an influencer that goes to Japan and then compares everything to America, but he's doing it for like Belgium, which I didn't realize people made content like that.
Over there. And I think that all places, all societies merit criticism. That's how we get better. So this applies to everyone. But there's something deeper going on here that I want to explore. On a personal level, my own identity as American, but also the identity of Americans on the global stage. We don't live in a bubble, and it turns out the whole world has opinions about us. Now, I have my own theories about what's going on here, but I thought I'd get to the root of the matter and ask Europeans themselves.
It makes me a little bit nervous talking to strangers, but I'm just gonna go for it.
What are the stereotypes?
That's a good question. Bah, moi, quand je pense aux Américains, je pense à la bouffe et tout.
Dans quel sens? Le fast-food?
Ouais,
Ok.
parce que McDo. Ouais.
McDo.
Ouais, hamburger et tout.
Mais les Français adorent McDo.
Oui, oui. Bah, on était il y a 2 minutes.
Donc c'est pas forcément négatif ça.
Non, non.
Ok.
Mais c'est l'image.
Actually, I like Americans because they are like very chilled. America is like so expensive for good food. Like for like fruits and all this fresh stuff, it's like so expensive.
J'ai deux visions un peu.
Ok.
Bro, should describe food deserts. What the fuck?
J'ai la version où ils sont trop cool et tout, et la version vraiment le beauf américain.
Do you think the stereotypes about Americans are true?
Kind of. I have a classmate that is American, and we are talking like about our traditional foods. And the American was like, my typical food is hamburger, ice cream, like the McDonald's one. And we are like, oh, so McDonald's is your typical food? She was like, yeah, kind of.
Could I just take a couple minutes to ask you a couple questions? It's okay if you don't have time, it's fine. Okay, all good. Have a nice day. The Americans don't have time for me. That's kind of funny. Would you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah. Polarized.
Polarized.
Extremely polarized.
Yeah. More than the Netherlands.
Much more.
Feel younger people feel the same way or differently about American?
I think even stronger.
Even stronger?
I think they
okay.
Dude, the Netherlands is so weird. I've never met an entire country that speaks perfect English like they live in fucking Santa Barbara or something. It's so weird, dude. It's so weird. It is so fucking weird, bro. And the reason for why, as a matter of fact,
I want to go to the
by the way,
Netherlands.
you know, fans of the show already fucking know. Amsterdam, one of my favorite places immediately in Europe. I asked them why, and it's the same reason why I don't have a fucking accent. It's because apparently their TV does not have dubs. Possibly because they have like 8 different fucking languages. Of course, you love brothels. Yeah, that's why I love Amsterdam, because I love brothels. That's what I do. I travel to places for brothels. Why would I do that when I fuck your mom every night, you dumb bitch? Fuck my dick. Dude, literally, just be like 11 notches less mentally ill, please. Oh my God. Like, holy fuck, dude. Jesus Christ. Anyway. As I was saying, they don't have dubs. So everything is in like original English with subtitles, which is precisely the reason why I don't have an accent, because I watched everything in English.
Yeah, the older
So did
people,
I, and I still sound like a
feel,
fucking
maybe thinking of the World
Mexican.
War II and World War I, in which the Americans did a very good job by helping, because Europe was not doing very well.
Yeah.
Ils connaissent que ce qui se passe dans leur pays.
Parce que enfermés sur eux-mêmes.
C'est-à-dire
que c'est pas contre eux, mais qu'ils s'intéressent pas trop aux autres pays.
They know about their own country, but not about like other
They don't know
stuff in the world.
They don't know shit about our own country, bro.
They're overrated. How? Like,
They receive too much attention?
Yeah, too much hype.
Too much
on
hype.
the internet.
Are you also German?
Yes, I am.
And in Germany, you feel like German people have a positive view of Americans? Or
Not really.
no?
I think
Okay, so more negative.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you feel that there's been a change at all in terms of how Americans are viewed, like in the last 10, 15 years?
I think so, yes. Especially due to the Trump and the Tea
Yeah.
Party things happening.
Yeah.
It got more polarized and doesn't make.
Like, can you imagine knowing this level of like deep knowledge about another country's politics? Like,
Right?
why the fuck does this Dutch lady know about the Tea Party?
What do you think?
You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. I mean, of course, it's ironic that I am saying this when I also have a, relatively sizable European audience that tunes in every fucking day to watch me shit on the United States of America on a daily basis, because everyone has to pay attention to our politics because we are the crazy guy with the biggest gun in the room, and we run the fucking show. We're like, hey,
Yeah.
better listen to me. You don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. I got a gun. That's usually what America is like.
Made it more negative, in my view.
There's more that I'd like to say about why I believe this dynamic is happening, why Europeans see Americans in this way. But before I do, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, which is BetterHelp. And look, therapy. All right, time for me to share some of my own personal theories here. Here's why I think it was maybe a little bit cooler to be American in the past. I was born in the 90s, maybe like some of you. And back in the 90s,
I like
it's
this
not
guy.
like the United States, or the world for that matter, didn't have its problems. It definitely did. You're not gonna get any of that classic, nostalgic, those were the days kind of thing from me. But one thing I think we can all agree on is that back in the 90s, the internet had not yet completely taken over our lives like it has now. And in my view, the internet feels like it's taken whatever problems already existed and made them bigger and louder. That might actually be what the internet is best at, the fast transmission of ideas and information, which in turn amplifies them. And there's another thing that the internet is really good at, which is that it is a canvas for less curated or filtered versions of that information or ideas. There are less gatekeepers, so anyone can say anything. My theory is that as time has gone on, and as the internet has played a bigger and bigger role in our lives, the world has been exposed to a less curated version of the United States.
Like,
you had movies and TV.
Am I gonna get a free fucking copy of Call of Duty?
The entire world, but it wasn't like it is today with social media and even the news reaching so many more.
Welcome to the lobby.
Yeah, I think the internet paired up with America's war on terror, which which just fucking ruined the planet. I mean, straight up, America's war on terror, and how accessible America's crimes were, and how much America manipulated the planet. Basically, really created an environment of hostility. And what I mean by that is that I think that American pop culture for a very long time was able to manipulate people. But when the internet came around, or when the internet became super accessible, all of a sudden you could kind of see through the pop culture. Like, you saw the good, and not only the good, but also the bad. You know what I mean? Why do you keep talking shit about our freedoms? Yeah. The irony, of course, is that Americans don't even fucking like America. Most Americans in this chat, at least, because it sucks.
You had movies and TV and pop music reaching the entire
the
world,
boys.
but it wasn't like it is today with social media and even the news reaching so many more people. Nowadays, it feels like you cannot escape the news about the mass shootings that are constantly happening in the US or the insane election cycles. I think in some ways, the internet might have taken away some of our innocence, right? Some of our naivete. As a result, even more curated versions of culture, like the highly produced TV shows and movies, are reflecting the things that we're seeing. The unintelligent or simple American is a very believable archetype and not a new one. You've got at least one, and often more than one character.
Okay, that's not an archetype. It's the truth, okay? That's literally what happens when you have a hostile terror cell leading one side of the, leading 50% of the political conversation and dominating even when they're in minority positions, where they eviscerate the limited amount of public funding that our school systems get, okay? While the other side is also playing a role, but from the supposed left in doing that very same thing. I genuinely don't think the average American is all that smart. I don't think that the average American is all that intelligent. It's partially because they don't have to be, because everything is basically on autopilot. We are
the average American is fucking stupid. I've been stupid for 30 years of my life. Okay, I would know.
Are the ones who reap the rewards the most of being in the.
I should say I was stupid for 30 years of my life, but then when I hit about 30, that's when I started educating myself on other topics. Well, let's retract that if we want to go all the way back. I'm gonna say 23. That's when I actually started. Like actually started.
Imperial core, even though that
Bro, this
reality is
fucking
slowly but surely changing.
KBS bullshit.
But like, it's hard. It's hard to fucking justify to the rest of the world that like, oh, we are intelligent people when when you have more guns than citizens, and everyone keeps going, no, we got to have more guns. Actually, like when you hear about mass shootings, to the outsider looking in, you're like, what the fuck is going on there? Like, are you guys okay? What kind of fucking stupid brain dead shit is this? And that's just one issue. Okay, that's before we get to like you know, the lack of adequate social safety nets, you know, low funds for public education, and utilizing most of our resources in feeding this endless bloodthirsty imperialist war machine. It's just like, it's very stupid. It looks like a lot of people are just advocating against their best interest in this country, and many are, as a matter of fact. Many are advocating against their best interest routinely, regularly. Think about that. We don't have health care, and there are people right now in the United States of America, plenty of people who advocate against health care. Like, they say, no, who's going to pay for it? I mean, come on, man.
Or they say, oh, if you're a fat ass and you got diabetes, or if you smoke and you get lung cancer, am I supposed to pay for it?
Perfectly fits that archetype in pretty much all American sitcoms, from Friends to How I Met Your Mother. And there are plenty of shows that play off of this very intentionally. I think of South Park and Family Guy and The Simpsons. And internationally, the contrast is even more stark. And it might just be me, but it does feel like the perception of Americans is deteriorating. I mean, I'm thinking about shows like Emily in Paris or The White Lotus. The White Lotus in particular blew me away because it felt so believable, and oftentimes in a very depressing way. Clearly, Americans are not known for being refined or in touch with reality. This is particularly true of wealthy Americans. And why wouldn't Europeans feel this way? We are famously terrible at learning foreign languages. To many, we're seen as living in our own giant bubble.
A lot of people beforehand used to think like the US was like very cool and this really lovely place to go to, but I feel like everyone just thinks it's dangerous and that they don't care about their citizens. There's all these shootings going on, like their healthcare is horrible, their schooling's horrible.
So there's been a change.
I think it's always been like that. I think there's a change now because like social media is like is making it more apparent.
America used to be, you know, like the American dream. Like a lot of them used to be a big thing. Like gun crime is getting like publicized a lot more. So I think like the narrative is changing a little bit.
Je vois l'Amérique comme une grande puissance mondiale et je les vois comme des capitalistes. En fait, si t'as de l'argent, tu vis bien, mais si t'as pas d'argent, y a personne pour t'aider. Marche ou crève.
In France, we say the Americans are big and fat, but I of America. With the friends, the salary friends.
Donc il y a des côtés positifs et des côtés négatifs.
Ouais, c'est ça exactement. Globalement, les gens pensent ça, mais en même temps, tout le monde va à New York et tout le monde va aux États-Unis.
Ouais, d'accord, ok.
C'est ça en fait, ouais. Ils ont des préjugés.
This is common attitude because it still is, I think, like reinforcing the hyper-capitalist, hyper-individualist, pro-American lifestyle that you see on TV. I myself felt this, you know what I mean? Where you were like, oh yeah, I want to go to America. I want to fucking live the American dream, you know what I mean? That's it. That's what it is. Even this wee baguette, you know, it has that same attitude.
Mais en même temps, c'est quand même un rêve d'y aller.
J'étais absolument ulcérée quand Trump était au pouvoir, de voir le comportement de cet homme. Ça donne pas envie d'aller forcément dans ces conditions-là. Le fait que les gens soient très très armés, j'ai l'impression que je me sentirais pas en sécurité.
Most people love Canadians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so once you clarify you're a Canadian, they're like,
We're like, oh, Canada, where are you from in Canada?
For me, it's like a lot about the money, like the times I went to New York and it's like, you know, winners and losers and, you know, you got to make it and you got to make loads of money and la 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 and then like if you don't have money, you're like basically fucked. I would say extremes. It's like an extreme, you know, country, like very, very rich, very, very poor, eat very much, eat very, very, very healthy, like extreme healthy, extreme, like XXXL and McDonald's, whatever.
Where are you from?
England.
Perfect. So I'm doing a video on Europeans' view of Americans.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any opinions about that. So okay.
From Europe.
No, we're not. We left the EU.
No, this is in Europe.
Do you feel like it's a more positive or negative?
During my 3-month trip to Japan, I asked Japanese people where they want to travel and and none of them said USA, citing gun culture and mass shootings as a reason why. That's funny. It's just like America gets a well-deserved bad rep, okay? Well-deserved. It's bad. It's bad out here. It's bad out here if you're poor. Bad everywhere if you're poor, but it's especially bad here when you're poor. It's so bad.
Negative view of Americans.
I'd say negative. I feel like there's a lot going.
I, for one, am glad that people are starting to finally see the bullshit, the fake. I guess it was propaganda over the years about America. And I mean, I live a pretty decent life, but if I didn't live where I live, I'd probably be dead, low-key.
Going on there that's just a bit backwards.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we need to move.
They all hate America till it's their turn to get bitch slapped by the might of the American army. Then they will truly have a reason to hate America. What the fuck? That argument to why you never leave America or you never learn any other language is extremely dumb, as America is as big as the whole continent of Europe. So, like, yeah, each state is like its own country for comparison. And why would you learn another language if you usually don't have a need to learn it in America? Brother, you literally just described why people have this attitude towards Americans. Like, you literally just perfectly... There's no reason for me to do any commentary on this, okay?
Yeah, it's like, why would I need to leave? Like,
because
bro.
You just described it. I'm not American? Okay, well, you're LARPing as one real fucking well, okay? I live here, though. Okay.
Move along.
Yeah.
They've like, you know, all the abortion laws coming
Okay, so
in,
politically.
and yeah, like all the gun crimes,
Yeah.
things like that. Like, I imagine like the most of the country is absolutely lovely, but there's some of the morals that are just a little bit off for me. So I
Yeah.
struggle with that.
I agree, but I do think you all like proper
But
chatty and that.
she said
and
but.
you're really energetic.
Yeah.
So it's a positive thing.
I was not expecting that accent out of her. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
but I
lovely
also
to
agree
meet
with that as well.
Yeah.
It's lovely to meet Americans.
Yeah.
Love meeting Americans.
Okay, so why am I so interested in this topic? Well, over the last few years, I have shared my journey moving abroad and looking
better
for a
not
home.
say he's
Because that
moving
home
back,
is
bro.
not the United States. I just don't feel connected to that country. Not as a home, even though I'm coming to realize that it did shape me in many ways. I'm just trying to find my place, but as I've said before, different people will treat you in different ways based off of how they perceive you. The first time I experienced this was during my high school exchange in France when I was 16 years old. Obama was president, and regardless of your personal political opinions or feelings, he was seen in generally positive light abroad. So in a weird way, even though I was not responsible for electing him, I wasn't even of age to vote, that scored me some cool points. And then on top of it, 16-year-old French kids living in a small town in the west of France thought it was cool that I rode a yellow bus to school and that I had my own personal locker in the United States. So I was benefiting from all these things that I didn't really control at all.
I think there's a difference, though. He's also, like, talking to kids back then versus, like, talking to adults now. You know what I mean? I think that's what it is, too.
I get to Argentina a few years later, and I see what it's like to be on the flip side, where the general sentiment was more negative. I'm generalizing here, but there's a bit of an anti-American streak in Argentina. And I think this comes down to the image that the United States has of being a bit of a bully. I mean, Che Guevara is a bit of
a bit of a bully. And he's saying that in Argentina, by the way, which is like, you would assume probably one of the more favorable nations in South America. You know what I mean?
an anti-American, anti-capitalist symbol, right? So that was a very different experience. And now I'm back in Europe, and I've been here for a while, and the perception has changed yet again.
90% of the Dutchmen think Trump is quite strange.
The Flying
They
Dutchman?
think Republicans are also quite strange.
What do you mean by
Americans are
strange?
very Puritan.
This might just be me, but I do feel like the image of Americans has deteriorated a little bit over the last 10 years.
I want to leave this country so bad, bro. Like, I just want to go to the other fucking side of the fucking world and just never look back, you know? One day, hopefully next year. I don't know how, but we gonna do it. We gonna do it, baby.
That might come down to the government that's currently in power. It might come down to social media. This is a very complex thing, so I can't point to a single reason, but it's definitely a feeling that's there. Now, on a personal level, before I realized that this was going on, I was kind of unintentionally overcompensating. I felt like I needed to show that I wasn't the out-of-touch American in Europe. And the same thing happened to me in Argentina, where I was speaking with as much slang as I possibly could that I picked up over there, even when it was just way too much, when it was inappropriate. Que zarpado, boludo, está re piola, pibe, mal.
The fuck was
Why
that?
was I acting like that? Was there a deeper need within me to be accepted by the people that I am surrounded by? To me, it's a little bit cringy to behave that way because it's overcompensating for something, which in this case was the identity that people were associating with me. Whatever it was, the out-of-touch, stupid American, whatever it might be. But that's actually a me problem, not a problem with the world. I've come to realize that people can think whatever they want about you. It doesn't change who you are. If people see me as yet another dumb American, it doesn't mean that's true. And also, it doesn't mean all Americans are that way.
Why are we watching Chinese propaganda? Everyone loves America. True. Yeah, I mean, dude, this is like a well-intentioned liberal guy. Look, ultimately, I shit on every American state, I shit on America, and I shit on every country, including Turkey. Okay? Why do I do that? Because I, as a leftist, understand that a nation and the people that live inside of it are two entirely separate things. Our governance and who we are totally separate from one another. Why do I do that? Because I understand that, like, the same motherfuckers living in France have identical problems with their own governments. They have identical problems in the workplace, okay? Same goes for people living in bumfuck Iowa. I mean, I covered Davenport earlier today. I covered Davenport yesterday. I shit on Iowa a lot. I shit on Iowa so much, okay? I nonstop shit on Iowa. It's like it's a state that I routinely slander. But ultimately, I understand, and I know that Iowans also understand, that, like, if you're living in Iowa, I know the issues that you have. They're very similar to the issues that any motherfucker living in Wyoming has or in New York has. Because ultimately, it's all the same. It almost feels like, I hate to see this, I hate to say it, but it almost feels like, I don't know, maybe your class position dictates the struggles that you experience. I don't know, just a thought. I don't know where that came from. But ultimately, it's not the borders, it's not the states, it's not the governments, it's the people. And a lot of people, regardless of where they live, have similar struggles. You know what I mean? Similar struggles. Hating their fucking bosses, not having enough autonomy, struggling with interpersonal relationships, feeling socially isolated, feeling alienated from their labor, and also not really having a say in what happens in their day-to-day lives, and certainly not having really a say in what happens with their government. It's how people react to that is different. Obviously, different cultures have different reactions to that kind of thing. But ultimately,
this shit is...
you know, that's the reason why I feel comfortable shitting on every fucking country.
I think we all know this. We all know that individuals don't necessarily follow the stereotypes, but it's also how people operate in a world of 8 billion people. I can't blame people for having formulated an idea about the place that I'm from, considering how much culture is exported from that place. A part of me used to try to distance myself as much as possible from anything and everything American, but the truth is that at least some part of me, some piece of me, has been influenced by my upbringing there. There are a lot of things I don't like, but there are some things that I do. If genuinely being very enthusiastically excited about simple things is the dumb American thing to do, then fine, maybe I'm a dumb American sometimes, because that is something that comes naturally to me. I would rather be myself and accept the consequences than try to be someone that I'm not. And you know what? Everyone wants to feel welcome wherever they are, and especially in their home. But the reality is that that's actually a luxury, not a given. So many immigrants in the United States were never made to feel that way, despite the fact that the country benefited tremendously from all the immigration, all the people that risked their lives to go build something over there. Honestly, I don't have it that bad. Who am I kidding? I don't have it bad at all. It could be so much worse, and oftentimes it is. Exploring this topic has really given me quite a bit of empathy for the immigrants that are very poorly received all around the world. So, what do you think about everything I just shared here? What is your perception of Americans or of Europeans towards Americans? I would be curious to hear, because this is a giant open-ended topic, and I invite all different opinions and perspectives on this. It's just something I love to explore. Also, apologies to all Latin Americans and Canadians who are Americans in their own right. I have decided to use that word in this video.
God, I mean, he's definitely like a very well-intentioned lib. I like him. I don't give a fuck what Chad is saying. Chad, you suck, okay? He's a normie, dude. He's like a normal guy. You don't have, not every person is going to be fucking talking about how a specter is haunting Europe, okay? Jesus, Lord mercy. You motherfuckers are so ruthless, dude.
Yeah, he's totally chill. Alright, we are gonna have to stop this